I get all sorts of people who are just starting out with an education business and they're saying, I'm thinking of creating a course about. Lots of people have expertise, passion for a particular topic. They want to share it with people. They want to monetize it. Maybe they're just teaching it because they have to. But in many cases, what people think of a traditional course, I think, is an absolute waste of time. It's difficult to tell people. So what I wanted to do is basically show how easy it is if you want to create a content-rich course for free right now in about an hour. And I'm going to show you that I just did it, and it has content that is more than good enough for someone to learn how to do something. And specifically, this is the process that I went through. I'm going to show you the steps, the tools that I used, and more importantly, I'm going to show you 8 outputs that I created, again, in under an hour, that would allow anyone to learn about this particular topic. Now, of course, there's always exceptions to the rule as to some particular thing that you're teaching that is a little bit more unique, that this tool that I'm using isn't something that can help you. But when you watch this and you're thinking about, hey, I'm going to create my first course, or I need to add another course to my course library, I think in 2026, it's the end of 2025 right now, started December. I've been talking about the next 400 days. Right now we're at 388. This whole education market, I think, is absolutely cooked when it comes to courses, and this is why. So let's take a look at what I put together here, and you'll see how much of a problem this is. Now, whenever I'm going to use 2 tools here. One of them is NoteBookLM, which again is free for anyone who has a Google account. And this is what I did. And again, all of this material right now is always available in trainingsites.io/join. That's my privately branded campus where I keep all of this content, and it's all available for free. And you're going to see why in a second. Like and subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. Give me a thumbs up. And comments, if you have comments or questions, just put them in the comments below, or preferably put them into the community at trainingsites.io. So here's where we're at with this particular thing. Anytime I am creating or putting together questions or content or processes or things that people want to learn about, I always create what's called a topical authority map, and I've done a whole bunch of videos on these, and they are in the campus as well, including the prompts. But remember, the topical authority map is about picking the topic, the categories and subtopics, but the last part is finding and making sure that you document the top questions in each of those subtopics that the people that are wanting to learn about your topic, these are the questions that they have. So if you can answer these questions, these are the ones that are important, and these are the reasons that people want to learn something. So I'm taking a look at the topical authority map. The first thing I did is I looked at it, and I wanted to find out, in this case, I wanted to make sure one of the big questions that we cover in trainingsites.io, again, that 3-step process about a privately branded campus, is about the community and the library is the first part, the foundation. Next, we have our live classes, apps, mini apps, agents, and tools that help people or leverage AI to let people teach themselves. And then, of course, we have the business of monetizing your campus and all that expertise that you have. So first thing I did is deep research. I got a topic on what software do I use or how do I build my community. I had a whole bunch of questions about that. What I did is I did some deep research, and you can do this 2 ways. One is you can do it just using an AI tool. And again, I did this example with ChatGPT, and I'll show you what I came up with and where it was. And this one here, you can see on the screen here as I'm just going by slowly. And again, I'll make these all available. I took the information from the topical authority map and I asked ChatGPT to basically use that and do deep research to answer the questions that were in the topical authority map. And what it did is it created a deep research document. It took maybe 35, 40 minutes to run in this particular case, but it was super deep, answering the questions that came from the topical authority map. So I had 2 pieces in place there, right? I had the topic, the category, the questions, and I had deep research. And I used ChatGPT. You don't have to. In fact, you can actually use NoteBookLM, and I'll show you where that kind of fits in here so that you can see it. Here we are right here in NoteBookLM on the left-hand side where our sources are. I just added that PDF document that was there. If I wanted to, I could actually go and do some deep research here in it. I did it in a separate tool just to kind of keep the memory / hallucinations separate. Again, personal preference. The bottom line is that I did have that research that was put together. And here's the cool thing now. I've done all sorts of videos about NoteBookLM, but if you look at this, NoteBookLM now has 8 learning outputs that are available for anyone. Again, NoteBookLM is free. You just need a Google account. But we've got a situation here where I had someone do the research, not me, based on questions that I know people have. And all I've done is I provided NoteBookLM with that 75-page in-depth research document. I could have added stuff to it, but I didn't in this particular case. Now, here's the cool part. I'm going to show you where these outputs are, but there's 2 things to remember. Almost all of these outputs now have individual settings, and we'll go through those briefly. And then secondly, you can give special instructions to complement those particular settings. And I'm talking about things not only about branding, but about the content that gets focused on and also the way that it is delivered or formatted or structured. Okay, so what are those outputs? Let's go take a look at those quickly. I'll open up our NoteBookLM. And again, if you're not familiar with all the details in this, I'll put the links to some of the other videos, and they're also in the Training Sites campus as well. So in my case here, whenever we're looking at, let's slide this over here, you can actually see below where my mouse is moving up. These are all of the outputs that I created. I'm going to show them to you in a second, but these are the 8 that are available by default. And everyone that has a pencil with it allows us to do special formatting or setup or settings for this one. So we've got an audio overview, and we can do deep dives, a brief, critique, or a debate. I did a debate with mine. Short, default, or long is the length. I did a long one, was over 10 minutes. And you can see that there's special instructions where you can ask, in this case, the AI host, which is Gemini 3, actually go and give it those not only branding instructions for any printed output, but, well, technically it could be audio as well. But we can put special instructions, content, formatting, structure, all of that available. So we have the audio output. We have the video overview, which is an explainer video. And again, we've got something that's explained or just a bite-sized brief. Special instructions that are here, and we can choose some visual styles to it. Auto select is the one in my case that I used. And then we have a mind map with no settings, but this one's special. I'll show you why in a second. A quick report, which is a summary of the large report with action items. Flashcards, so that we can actually use this to make sure that we study the key points or that we have access to the key points. And if you're their instructor, which is the other piece here, you now have the ability to create social media posts directly from here. We've got a quiz that was created, an infographic, and the quiz actually, I just want to make sure, standard, more questions, less questions, easy, medium, default, and then additional areas that we can focus on with special instructions. Infographic, same thing. Landscape, portrait, or square is here, and also the level of detail. Special instructions, these are the ones, for example, that traditional branding might fit in here. And then we've got slide decks. And this is the part that's cool. If I'm trying to create a course, I can do presenter slides, which are more talking points or allow a traditional presentation use of it. And then we have the detailed deck, which actually has the meat and potatoes if you want to hand it out to someone or if someone is self-studying. And then, of course, we have the special instructions here as well. Now, why are those 8 things important? So we've got these learning outputs, right, that we're talking about. Each of them is individual settings. We can give special instructions. But here's the thing. If I am going to purchase a course from you or sit through a lecture, where I don't know what the structure is or what it is that I'm getting, would I do that, or would I create my own course that answers my own questions in the formats that I want having all of these variable different digital assets that I've created based on my criteria. I'm not reluctant on the instructor. I'm not reluctant on the course salesperson that's trying to please everyone. This is everything that I need in 8 different learning output formats that I can use to pick and choose and customize. And here's the part that is the coolest. There's an expert on call in NoteBookLM, and that is right in the middle. If I open this up again, this middle section is Gemini 3, which is right now the most powerful AI tool available to us, that we can just chat with it exactly the same as if we didn't even have NoteBookLM. It is here available, an expert that is far smarter than any course creator and or any instructor, with suggestions on the prompts that you give, but it allows us to actually have someone to talk to if we get stuck. Available 24/7, absolute perfect expert, knows everything, and of course we can always go and add more resources if we need to clarify any of the things that get created. So let me just show you how easily this is to create stuff. I just want to bring it up. Remember, I'm looking at it from the perspective of, do I create my own course and take the time to do that, or do I create it in an hour? And if I'm a student, do I go and purchase a course, or do I sit through your 3-hour lecture? 388 days. I think the whole education model is on some serious weak legs. And I think by the end of next year, things are going to completely change. And in fact, that's why I put together the next video, where I'm going to talk about all the different jobs and parts of the education market that I think are in trouble for the end of next year. But let's just look quickly at the 8 pieces that I put together, again, in under an hour, that can easily replace a course, and it is more than good enough. And I'm going to make these all available. If you go to trainingsites.io in the joint, these are all available for you. You can have them, watch them, go through them. You'll learn how to create your own courses, not buy any. Create a course on any topic that you want just by creating a topical authority map, asking for deep research, and then having NoteBookLM spit out everything based on your instructions on what you want. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Okay, I'll try and make it as big as we can. And again, I'm only playing this just so that you can see it. And if the sound or anything isn't as loud necessarily, let me just make sure I make it a little bit louder here. These are the pieces that we have based on the settings that I set up. So let's go do our first one. In the bottom, I did a audio debate as a setting that I had with some special instructions. And let's play that one and see what happens. Make sure we're going. Oh, come on, let's see if we can get this one going here. No sounds coming out. Oh, let me see if I can get that to work. One sec. Okay, what did we get? We've got these 8 pieces that we were talking about. Let's take a look at what we got, why it's important, and how you should maybe think about this if you are a course creator and or someone who is an educator and or someone who's taking courses or has been paying for courses in the past. So we've gone through all these pieces. What are the 8 kind of chunks of content that we got out of it? I'm going to show those to you right now. I'm going to, again, give you a very brief overview of them, give you a chance to see what actually got output. But all of this material, of course, is available in my privately branded campus in the free community library, where you can go and download it. These are all available for download and or shared links. And again, this is all for you. Now, I'm going to show you on the right-hand side, these are the 8 pieces that I generated. And you'll notice there's an ellipses, a little stacked menu on the right-hand side. For the majority of them, if you click them, you'll always see, in this case, that's not, of course I showed the wrong one. So let me start at the bottom. The ones that are more video, audio, multimedia ones, you have the opportunity to download them. And in fact, that's what I did, and that's what I'll be showing you. We can rename them, share them, and also view the custom prompt that I used to customize the kind of output in terms of branding, but also the structure and or the type of content that was actually created. So for the ones that are available, like multimedia ones, I can go and actually download those or just share them with a link. Some of them, for example, like the flashcards or the quizzes, we can actually share the link, but there's also the available to download, for example, the flashcards as CSV files. So let's go through. I'm going to show those to you. And again, I'm just trying to make sure that you think about this from the sense that if I'm an instructor, do I spend a whole bunch of time creating a course, or do I take an hour to basically create all these digital assets that allow the people to learn what they need to learn, or show them how to do this themselves as opposed to doing them for them? Or do I just want to add content to my community library around the way that I specifically think of the content or the process that I use when I'm actually teaching in my live classes? So let's take a look at these, and I downloaded some of them to make sure that they work properly. Again, it took me about an hour to put this entire thing together. It's been an hour and a bit since I created some. You'll see, for example, it says about 2 hours here, about 2 hours as I've been recording this. So let's take a look at, first of all, the audio, which is one that I did. And I put the audio together as a debate. So let me open this one here. And these are the ones I just downloaded it to a folder. So I have the materials here, and I'm going to all-in-one WordPress versus best of breed, which is what came up in my topical authority map as the reason I was putting this together. So I'm just going to go open with, and we'll do QuickTime Player. And let's play it. This one that's Creator's Dilemma. We don't want that one. Open that one later. Here's the QuickTime Player.
Welcome to the debate. Every edupreneur building an online business eventually faces the same fundamental choice. Do I rely on the convenience of an all-in-one SaaS platform?
So we can go and change the time backwards and forwards if we want it to go quicker or later. But in this particular case, let's go and see if we can get it. Oh, that's a little too fast. There we go. Let's try again.
Control and, the flexibility.
Performance anxieties, the limits on scalability, and the potential feature immaturity that comes from relying so heavily on a single consolidated vendor suite.
Okay, so there we go. We've got an audio. You can download it, do what you want on it, listen to it in the background. But again, it's taken all of the information that we had as research, but it's clarified it, condensed it, put it into something that has some learning value to it, as opposed to just doing some research and trying to figure out how it all fits together. The other one I did, which was underneath, and again, I'll show that to you just so you can see where it came from. That one is called The Creator's Dilemma, that was renamed by NoteBookLM. That one is a 7-minute video. This audio was actually 10.5 minutes. The video is 7 minutes. Let's go take a look at that one. I'll try and open it up here. And we'll play it.
Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's talk about something that might hit a landlord can change the rules, hike up the price, or even decide to sell the building right out from under you. Is that really where you want to build your dream? And this brings us right to what we're calling the creator's dilemma. It's this constant tug of war, isn't it?
Okay, so I had it set up with basic actually I had it set up so that NoteBookLM actually goes and creates or the style to it. I put some special instructions in for it. And again, from here, what I can do is share it if I want to share it just with a particular link, but I can also show the prompt. This is the part that I had added here. And if I want to, I can actually go and download this. So this is an explainer video. If you're someone creating this on your own to learn something, allows you to really get an understanding again of all of the details. And if you're putting it into a community library, something you can download and use. So what else do we have after this? Here's the one that I'm absolutely stunned at with NoteBookLM. And this is a big change recently. And this is the ability to create infographics. And this is the infographic that I got. And again, I had it set as detailed. And I wanted to make sure that it had as much meat in the infographic and a one landscape image that I could show and have it as a good reference document, again, overlooking the process and how it fit in. And again, these are all available within the community for you. When you look at this, the one thing to be aware of is the text. I had the detailed view. All of the text, I've got correct spelling. It's formatted properly. It fits in directly. All of the graphics are generated. This is just a good reference document, a visual reference document that shows how all of this fits together and allows us to actually take a deeper dive into the pieces if we actually needed to. Share, download, all of those things again are available to us, and it was just the click of a button. Now the same thing is with the slide deck. So I'm going to open up the slide deck here, and we have the option of going through and taking a look at it. And this is a well-designed, graphically rich and relevant slide deck that has been created. And I didn't even ask for the branding. These are the images that came up. But if I take a look through, we've got a well-presented slide deck, something that in my case, I did the version that was for the person who was learning something, not the person that was presenting it. Remember, there was two formats in the settings, but I've now got this put together. And again, lots of detail, relevant and consistent with all of the other materials, and great visual anchors that allow us to remember the different pieces of what's going on. So we got the slide deck that's there, and I'm going to show you a couple other ones here that are kind of important. Now the fourth one is the most important one. So we got flashcards, quizzes, and a quick guide, a 2 or 3 page guide, as opposed to the 75 pages that we originally had here. But we've got this one, flashcards, and I'm going to show this to you again quickly. We've got these flashcards here. There's 60 flashcards. They can run, I can download them as a CSV file, but these are ones that can run and go through them. And again, these are just quick points to make sure that I remember all of the pieces, or I have segments that I can remember or recall, and that they are somewhat committed to memory. Now, I'm not a big fan of flashcards. Hey, maybe you are, they are here. And what's cool about this is if you are the course presenter, you can download this as a CSV file. And these are things that could be made directly into social media posts. Maybe you want to add them as engagement posts within your community or library. Those are things that can all be done with the flashcards. They're relevant to the content and the context of what is going on in your community and the questions that you're answering for people. Quizzes. Again, I had a quiz. It was a default quiz. It generated 12 questions, easy to download and embed, shared. It's even got hints that we can actually go and work through. And in this case, we can go through the questions next and pick the answers, whether it's right or wrong, etc. It's interactive, it's there, it's available. Now, 2 other ones I'll show you quickly. The last one is special, really special. The guide here is that kind of 2-page kind of guide with some tables and stuff in here that makes it available again as a quick reference guide for the key pieces that are on the topic that we were talking about and the path forward. So this is the part, these are kind of the action items or the pieces that you have to think about. If you've watched the video, if you've maybe gone through and you remember the content, you have the infographic, but you're just going to yourself, okay, now which is the decision that I have to make? What do I have to decide on? This is directly available in the report based on all the content that was put together. Now this is the one that I kind of get most excited by, and this particular one is the mind map. Now you're probably going, James, I get mind maps, I have a mind map, and in fact I do. If you remember at the start of this, I started off with my mind map, which I was talking about the talking points, right? I use this map for talking points. The mind map that gets created in this course replacement, if you want to call it that, or my learning environment that I can create in about an hour on any topic in my topical authority map, I'm looking at this and I'm going, wouldn't it be great if we had an expert that was available all of the time? Someone that I could talk to and ask questions to based on the big picture. Well, why don't we go take a look at that, because I do have a mind map that is available, and this is one that automatically gets created again by the content and the work that we've done. Now, I'm going to show you this. Again, this keeps everything in context, shows how all of the pieces are linked together. And here's the interesting part. If I go and click one of these, I've got my map on the right, but if you look on the left, I now have Gemini 3, the very best AI model when I'm recording this, and I now have the ability to interact with an expert that knows more than any teacher, more than any course creator. It's available 24/7 to answer my personal questions. It's got references or citations to all of the material where it is in the main document, and I can go and start typing and going through this to ask any questions or clarifications that I want and or need. This is an absolute stunning tool that is available now, today, for anyone who wants to learn about anything. Now, of course, there's all sorts of exceptions to the rule. I get that. I'm fine with that. Just remember that anytime that we're doing this, look in the bottom right. I can add any of these pieces to the reference document that I actually used to create it. So anytime I'm working with these and I get clarification, I get an additional resource, I ask a question, I want to add it to my resources, I can do that, and I can regenerate any of these additional pieces. This is a living course / document that completely removes the need for purchasing a course about topics that are within your topical authority map. I am very, very bullish on this complete replacement of courses. I think the traditional course is cooked. And in fact, that's why I put together the privately branded campus at trainingsites.io, because I think a free community library, free content, free courses. This is something as the instructor, you can create these in an hour and put them into the library. If you're thinking of buying a course, don't buy the course, just follow the 3 steps that I did here and make the darn course yourself. And in fact, in the next video, what I want to do is I want to spend some time and explain why I think what I've been talking about the next 400 days, we're at 388 days. I absolutely believe that the entire education space is in deep, deep, deep trouble. And it's coming faster than we think it is because of tools like this that are available today. So I hope you enjoy this. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Put comments below. That's cool. Pro or con, I'm open for it. Let's discuss it. And more importantly, join the community, the campus. That is my privately branded campus, my open community library with all of my content for you to go in and consume. If the DIY type you want to learn on your own about a particular topic, in my case, it's starting, building, growing education business. It's there for you. Ask questions in the community, download, use all that content. I would love to see you in there and share all of the experience and fun I've had with AI and being in the course business for the past 30 years. So hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Expect the best. It's James from trainingsites.io. We'll be right back with another great video on why I think education is cooked.